quite a long time, even before it was called HEMA. It was this weird reenactment plus swords thing at the time. And I'm originally Polish. First, I was member of Polish clubs. Then I moved to UK, where I was a member of quite a few clubs there. So I've seen how the scene changed. I've seen how it looks in different countries as well. And I think that we are making a lot of progress when it goes to diversity in HEMA, but we can do more. And I think in many European countries, there is a lot of work which can be done still. This talk I will be talking about HEMA, but it applies to all martial arts. And I will be mostly talking about these from a woman perspective, obviously, but this is also about LGBTQ folks. This is about people of different ages. This is about in fact about diversity in HEMA overall. And this talk is for HEMA practitioners, martial artists, instructors, organizers of events like that. And I hope that I will be able to help you in either, understanding how to make your club, your event, more welcoming for different groups, different minorities. So yeah, these are objectives of this talk, what I want to talk about. And also I want you to, when I will be speaking, to think about stuff which you can do in your clubs, and then we can have some discussion. So think about it now. Who is missing from this room? Or maybe, or who is missing from your club? Or maybe who is missing at this event? Just think about it and look around as well.
I'm writing down names.
Names? I'm talking about like more bigger groups rather than names, but fair enough. So yeah, just reflect on that. Yes, so again, underrepresented groups in martial arts, in HEMA, are women, people of color, LGBTQ folks, and those with disabilities. This is also a very important thing. We tend to, when we say minorities, we think, yeah, women, LGBTQ, but we don't think about people with disabilities. And it is also very important to think about them, how to make them more welcome in your clubs. And this is, I think, the most important bit of these talks, that inclusion isn't just about who shows up, but who stays. And a lot of time, you probably see at beginners courses that there is a lot of attendance, there is quite a big diversity as well, especially if you are paying attention and just trying to advertise your beginners courses. I must say that sometimes in my club I have problem with that because I don't have time to advertise it in many different places, like, for example, more community places where I notice that if I won't do that, most of people who will come to my beginners courses are white, middle-aged men. And if I will try to advertise it more widely, I have a lot of women, LGBTQ folks, I have a lot of minorities out there. And I think that is something which we also need to think about. Advertise outside of your maybe social circles and advertise more in community places, because that's where these people will see it. We advertise both online as well as like in physical places. So we have our leaflets, flyers out there, and these are also working. I know that right now we are used to advertise everything online, but believe me, it's also important to just leave flyers, and people look at that. Another thing, which is quite interesting, is that representation matters. So what I try to do a lot when it goes to beginners courses, I try to put pictures of women and again just minorities in the pictures of the flyers, so people see that they're welcome, that there is some representation there. It is much easier for people, for beginners, to go there and see, oh yes, there are already some. I'll be referring to women because, again, I'm one. So for me, it's easier, but think about it also as minorities. So yes, there is somebody like that there. The club is not only made of these middle-aged white men. I'm so sorry to middle-aged white men, but that's unfortunately something which, not unfortunately, but we have a lot of middle-aged white men in clubs, but we don't have other people out there. So yeah, representation matters. Just show that your club is more diverse, even if it's not very diverse, and you will see the gradual change. When I started advertising like that, at one beginner's course, I had 12 women and LGBTQ people and three guys. So seriously, it matters. Right. Have you ever heard that? If they wanted to join, they would. I heard that a lot, especially in the beginning when I was starting HEMA, when I was the only woman in a club. When I was trying to say maybe we should, I don't know, do something so more women would join, I was hearing from instructors, well, they are clearly not interested. That's not correct. I can tell you that they would be interested. Again, right now it changes slowly, but even then, if we would do some work towards it, then probably we will have a lot more women or other minorities in HEMA. And again, or in martial arts. And there are some cultural barriers. When it goes, again, to women, the problem is that, especially women my age, or like a bit older generations as well, they were discouraged to do physical activities. They were discouraged to do more contact sports. And because of that, we can see that there is a lot of disparity out there. And when it goes to, so when I was starting martial arts, I was told by my family that that's probably not the best thing to do because I will have bruises. Like, great. That's correct. I had a lot of bruises, but another thing is, which I also want you to think about, is that what do you think when you see women with bruises, and what do you think when you see a guy with bruises? Well, when I have had bruises on my arms, some people who didn't know that what I'm doing, that I'm training martial arts, they were worried for me, and they thought that maybe somebody's beating me up, like they did, but we agreed to it. But that was something which came up a lot. My friend who was working in the office told me once, who was also doing martial arts, told me once that she was handed a leaflet for like community center for people who had some issues at home. So she's a woman. When it goes to guys, and that's another like huge can of worms, which we should tackle as well. When it goes to guys, people think like, yeah, he probably does some sports or like martial arts as well. But that's not always, again, this is another issue, that's not always true. Sometimes men can also be victims of violence at home. So think about that. There's a lot of problems with just looking at these things and like in a quite misogynistic way as well. So yeah, we also need to recognize passive exclusion, and that's that. If we want to do anything to make people more welcome from minorities groups, then that's passive exclusion. And unfortunately, we are at the stage that we need to put some effort to welcome these people. So yeah, that's what I talked about. I hope you see it because it's quite small, but that's a big screen. So there are some gendered expectations about sports and physicality, and actually Karin, who's not here, I think, but have an amazing talk 2 years ago at Winter Camp, where she was talking about how women and men are seen in public spaces. So, and also, for example, in films, in culture. If you think about actresses, they are told, even if they're playing the strong women who are fighting, who are like, for example, Wonder Woman, they are always told to look petite, tiny, while guys who are superheroes, again, they need to be really big and strong. And this is something which is also not good, let's say, that we tend to push women to be as tiny and small as possible, and especially in comparison to guys. This drives a lot of problems also in younger generations, because even children tend to have problems with eating, which again, if they are growing, that affects their muscle mass in the later stages of development, in later years. That affects the physical performance later as well. I can, when I teach beginners, I can see a huge difference between guys and girls, and I'm talking about also different ages. Women tend to be worried about hitting somebody with a sword or just unarmed. I teach also unarmed. While guys are, and women tend to apologize every time they hit somebody. Not all of them, obviously. Well, I don't see that much in guys. And this is another thing, that women are discouraged for these physical sports and activities.
It's a little bit almost the opposite. Like whenever I get beginner guys and beginner girls, I have to always teach the guys to use less force, to not chew a little bit.
That's true. That's another thing. Obviously, it depends on a group. But I've seen that a lot, like in general, we're talking about, we cannot talk about every single example there, but in general, women are a little bit less confident when it goes to martial arts. So yeah, but this is not a deficit in women, but a product of environment and culture. Unfortunately, we still have that. we're slowly, the younger generations right now, slowly going out of this, but it will be a long time before we'll get rid of it. Right. So we can ask, but aren't men just stronger? And this is why all these differences, not all, but some of these differences are there. So, yes, in general, men are stronger. They have more muscle mass. But we're talking like about a mean. So there will be women there which are stronger than some men. There will be men which are weaker as well. We cannot, obviously, this is this weird thing when people are talking about like general groups. In general, they are concentrating on this one thing which does not apply to everybody. And this is something. There would be women there which are stronger than some guys. Not all of them again, but that's something which we cannot really, and I will be talking about it in a moment. When it goes to training, we need to think about people as like not in general, not this one guy or a woman who are all exactly the same. No, there are differences between people. And another thing, that the strength in martial arts is the most important thing. No, it's not. It is not the most important thing, and we need to acknowledge that, you know, in martial arts, these things, so other skills are more important than strength. And technique, like performing technique correctly, is more important than strength. You know, reliance on brute strength can delay technical development in martial artists. And I see it again a lot, that men rely on this strength, which actually is problematic, because that's not how martial arts or fencing should work. And I also need to stress that obviously martial arts were developed to fight different types of opponents. It's not, in boxing right now we have these weight categories, but historical martial arts were developed in times where there was no these weight categories. So some techniques are made to fight people taller, stronger, heavier, and they still should work. Oh, my favorite thing, testosterone. So, again, let's a bit more biology there. So, hormones. So, I had a lot as well, the argument that obviously men have testosterone, which drives aggression, so that's why they are more interested in martial arts or fighting. Well, first of all, again, martial arts should not be connected to aggression. Like, if you are aggressive in martial arts, especially, you know, in a club, that's not good. In like real life situation on a street, when you need to fight somebody who attacks you, well, probably also aggression is not the best thing, but might just help you get out of some situation which is dangerous. But again, aggression in martial arts is not something which should be relied on or connected to martial arts, to be honest. And so yeah, when it goes to testosterone, let's also not forget that this is not a hormone which is seen only in men. Women also have some levels of testosterone, usually a bit lower, but you know. Thank you. But when it goes, if men have high levels of testosterone, it's also not good. That's pathological state. You should refer to the doctor to just make it correct. Higher levels of testosterone are not something which are good in martial arts as well. And there is a lot of research which have very mixed findings when it goes to testosterone and aggression. So, we don't know still that much about hormones. I know that science is amazing and we've done a lot of progress, but biology is complicated. And I'm a biologist myself. And there is a lot of factors which influence biology of every single person. It will be different hormones, for example. Hormones are the signals which are sent by our body to just, for example, switch some function or switched off. And these are sent to our cells, and our cells have these little receptors which can recognize certain hormones. Some people will have more of these receptors, some will have less. And that also relies on genetics, for example, or not even genetics. Some, for example, our age or stress levels. And that changes throughout life. So again, there is so much. So people tend to oversimplify biology. And I don't think that they should use biology as argument in such discussions about why people are interested in martial arts or physical activity. So yeah, we should shift our focus in martial arts and HEMA. So aggression is not good. Strength is not the most important factor, but control, timing, things like that, not aggression. You might have seen that quite a lot of news right now covers ultra marathons. And in these ultra marathons, we see more and more women who excel and win these marathons, and they are way ahead in front of the guys. This is Australian ultramarathon runner who finished marathon as first person who finished while breastfeeding her baby in between running. So women have such traits which seem to be on a bit higher level, like endurance, balance, coordination, and this is something which I teach my students, and that's quite important bit that you shouldn't. Men tend also to rely when it goes to sword fighting on their upper body, and that's okay in the beginning. That's okay. That would work in the beginning. Men have more muscle mass here. They also have a bit wider shoulders, which works fine. But if you want to keep with that, you need to use your whole body. In martial arts, you need to use your whole body. And hips are something which can help you generate a lot more power in techniques, which I will be talking also about a little bit. I'm teaching Fiore Abrazare, so unarmed tomorrow. So, and we will be looking at technique, which also uses quite a lot of whole body and also hips. So that is something which is quite important, not only when it goes to women, because again they have less strength in their upper body, so using hips will help them in techniques from the beginning. But men actually, men actually should also remember about that it's whole body mechanics, not just upper body. So yeah, we need to remember that endurance, balance, coordination are all something which is very important in fencing. And also, instructors should recognize that and develop these things in not only like female fencers or women fencers, but also in like try to think about their other students. I didn't mention one thing. So why suddenly all these ultra marathon runners and women suddenly appearing in these different disciplines? Think about how much footballers, men, are paid. And do you know of any, right now they are, do you know of any clubs, like female football clubs, which are paid the same? No. In fact, right now it starts, for example, Lionesses from UK. Before they started, no, when they started winning, these all women Lionesses, which are, again, if you are not familiar with the context of UK, this is like professional women football representation. When they started to win internationally, they were paid for everything. They were paid for their travel, training. They didn't have any support from like any sponsors. They also had day jobs, so you know they were working. They probably had, some of them had families, and then they were also putting some effort into training. And when they started to win, when they started to be better than UK men representation, suddenly the sports sponsors appeared, and they got more money and more support, and right now they are professional footballers. They don't need day jobs because they are paid a lot of money. And that's the problem with women in sport as well. It does not sell as, it didn't sell at least, as well as it was with the men's sports. And because of that, women don't have that much money for their training. They don't have that much time for their training. There is a lot, there is fewer professional sports, female and women sport people than in case of men. And that's also why we don't see them that much, and their performance is not as good sometimes as in case of men. That also refers to other minorities, by the way. So yeah, another thing is that instruction shouldn't be one size fits all. I referred to that already, that we as instructors, some instructors just teach everybody in the same way. At default, also quite good instructors, I won't mention names, but you know, in the beginning for the basics, probably it's okay, but if you want to train your students well, then you need to think about them as individuals. And that's, again, that's the same with like people with more muscle mass in the upper body, people which are a bit weaker, smaller, taller, or maybe like a bit maybe not that tall. It's something which we need to remember. Oh, I also need to mention that left-handers. You probably have left-handers in your club? Yes. So we tend, as instructors, sometimes we tend to forget that they need a bit different instruction than right-handers, because some techniques won't work when you apply it in another way. And thankfully, in my club, my assistant instructors thought about it. I didn't, I must admit. And Nick here, who's my assistant instructor, is one of them. And they started, when they teach, they started to show the technique both for right-handers and left-handers, which is good. And again, it's inclusive. It's great. I think that's something important. It is very important to also think about these people, because they're also, when you think about it, left-handers are also minorities. In HEMA, most people is right-handed. Although I've seen some clubs where there is quite a lot of left-handers. It's, yeah. So, yeah. Teaching whole body movement and hip power, that's something which I'm like, I think my students are sick of it, but at least they remember it. And adapting for different body types. So yeah, that's if you're an instructor, that's our responsibility to remember and to adapt. This will benefit everybody, and not just women. Or so it will teaching right techniques for the body type as well will benefit everybody in your club. So yeah, another thing which I'm doing sometimes, and I mentioned that before, for people with disabilities, when I start training, I ask people if there are any injuries which I should know about, or any disabilities which I should know about. And again, this is something which we need to think about as instructors. They don't need to tell me like in front of the whole class. That's fine. I just want to know about it so I can adapt when I'm teaching. So yeah, building a welcoming environment. So your club as a whole has a very important role in like inclusion. It doesn't happen just by default. And if you don't have that, you probably should work on that. And that's so. Probably, you know, as clubs, we tend to be quite close, especially if we have people who've been with us for years. We have inside jokes. We have all these things which are understandable to us as a club, but they might not be understandable to people who just came. They might sound wrong. They might sound like something which they won't understand or will understand in the wrong way, and that will drive them away. So
it's about the Fiore blood cult stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't joke like that in the beginner's course. Yeah. So these inside jokes are great if you already have a group of people who know each other. But when people join, that might sound wrong, even if it sounds fine for you and you think it's very funny. So yeah, so we need to encourage this kindness and being more open and trying to, you know, think that maybe not everybody that can understand our weird blood cult jokes. Yeah, and also when new people are coming, a little bit of extra explanation and like welcome can go a long way as well. So, you know, putting this effort is something which is very good. Okay, that's another very important thing, is that sometimes in clubs, if there is not that many women or minorities, these people are treated as novelties. And it's novelties or like these unicorns, which again might sound like this extra effort. That's quite hard to level. So as I said just a moment ago, please put this extra effort to welcome people, but don't overdo it. It's fine. It's called tokenism. Hi, Karin.
Sorry.
That's fine. I mentioned you before. So this is tokenism. being treated as a special just by existing, being present. And that's not what we, and I will say that as a woman, that's not what we want. We want to be treated as, respected as martial artists and peers, not just because we are women or, I don't know, LGBTQ or person of color. So that's something which we need to put, which we need to actively think about. Don't overdo it. And try to treat everybody as serious practitioner. That's the most important thing. There was something which there was a comment under my article on that about you might know a guy Winslow. He published books and he's a very known instructor from UK. He, for example, said in one of his podcasts that he always, when he shows a drill, he tries to shows it with somebody from these minorities. So, for example, a woman, if she's present at his workshops. And this is actually okay, because it's not that he's just choosing this person to show how progressive he is. No, that's representation. He wants to show that these people are at his workshops, and that they can be treated as an equal sparring or drill partner. So, you know, this extra effort is fine, but again, it's something which needs a bit of leveling out there. So, right. I gave you some ideas already on what you can do. Inclusive language and imagery. So, as I said, we are trying to use in our beginners courses. We are trying to use women in the pictures on flyers. We also diverse role models and leadership. So at events like that, it's good to think about inviting also women instructors, not only guys, even though probably the guys are more out there. I heard about very few professional martial art women instructors, and when you think about professional martial arts instructors, probably you have a couple of ideas about names which just pops up, but mostly guys. So, for example, Dave Rawlings and people like that. But it again a bit of an extra effort and thinking who I can invite from these minority groups to teach can go a long way. And again, because of that, that's representation, and representation matters. With time, more and more instructors from minorities will appear, will see that they can be instructors, that they can teach at events, they can that they are respected as instructors as well, and there will be more of them. It won't be such an effort to find them. So. Also active, clear anti-harassment policies. That's also something important if you are running a club. Make sure that you have that in place. In my club, we have like a special person to which my students can go if something worries them, if they are, I don't know, maybe scared to talk to me or one of my other instructors. They can go to this exact person and talk to them about the worries or if something is not right. Diverse teaching staff and leadership. That's another thing which I already mentioned. Active outreach. You probably again would like to advertise your courses in different places. In UK, we have such, how to call it, different clubs run these Give a Girl a Sword events, which is like this workshop only for women and LGBTQ community, where they can come and for free have a fencing lesson. A lot of clubs noticed that these drove this quite a lot inclusive diversity in their clubs. So this is something. Active outreach is also something which is good to do. And yeah, inclusive teaching methods. I also mentioned that. Don't think about every single person in your club as just this average person. There are differences which you need to address. And yeah, small things done consistently can create long-term changes. So this is also important. Okay, so right now a bit more interaction there. So think about your club, your community, and what message does it send to first-timers? And think about it for a moment, and think about maybe yourself coming to your club, and when you started, or if you would come, if you said the club, maybe if you would come to the similar club, how you would feel, how you would see it, and think about what changes could be done, because I can assure you probably even the most, the club which seems the most inclusive still can done some changes. So think about how what you can do, which you can implement tomorrow.
Fairly inclusive. We've got lots of people, different age ranges, women, LGBTQ, and what have you. But something you're talking about other minorities. We haven't got very many Asian community, and I mean we're in Birmingham, and there's a massive Asian community in Birmingham. And the other interesting thing, there's a couple of GATCA guys running GATCA, which is Sikh martial art. So I'm thinking, off the back of this, possibly try and reach out to those guys, get them involved. But like I say, we've got a 60-year-old female maths teacher comes to our classes. So we've got 16-year-olds, college students, and all sorts of stuff. But you're right, it is still mostly middle-aged men.
I'm sorry, middle-aged men.
And including all the instructors. Most of us balding with beards.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong about that. Still, it would be nice to see like bigger diversity.
Yeah.
And I guess with Asian community, maybe inviting instructors from these other groups.
Yeah,
like
we always get lots of, because the same nights that we're on, all the local Asian lads and lasses are playing indoor cricket, and we're always getting them coming and looking through the window. And we're always inviting them in, but they don't want to stop. So we've got to work on that, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. And again, different communities from different cultural backgrounds as well. That's something which would be nice as well to see more in HEMA. I traveled, I was teaching last year in Switzerland, and there was no people of color whatsoever at the event. And they were on the streets, but not at the event. So that's another thing which is worth thinking about. What you can do to make these people come to our hobby and just enjoy it, I think. Karin?
Does this work?
Yes.
So weird. Thank you for this, I missed the first part, sorry, but for this wonderful lecture. I will tell you shortly what we did already and are doing and how we are evolving in trying to reach this kind of goals. already when we announce our new year, we work in the academic year because we have our hall in the university. We make a nice affiche and blah, 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 very short. And then, ook dames welcome. Ladies also welcome. It is clearly visible. It is not gigantic, but it is clearly visible in the middle of the affiche. And it catches people's eyes. Because automatically, when it's about fighting, people think it's for men only. Some girls told me, I saw that and I thought, maybe I can go and take a look nevertheless. Second, the Give a Lady a Sword. We did 2 years ago with the other Brussels group, Give a Queer a Sword. And last year we did Give a Lady a Sword. That each time quite a lot of people came. We have now three full members that came because of Give a Lady a Sword to train in the regular training, in the mixed regular training, and consider that as a success. Yep. I'm not supportive of a separate HEMA for women, by God, no. But it is true that we should be treated as equal, but since women have never been treated as equal when it comes to physical education, to mental resilience education, to learning how to be resistant and defend yourself and fight if necessary, they are unlearned that from a very young age, so they are handicapped in that respect. I use this word deliberately, even when they are enthusiastic, strong, sportive, etc. So you have to do something. If you just treat them equal from the start, they are there, and what will happen is not this, but this. Yeah. So you need to do something to first help them come more or less there, even if it's not exact. And then they will be able to join in the... So I put attention, not with big speeches and blah, blah, blah. I tell a little bit, but I put attention to physiological and biomechanical problems that ladies very often, because of the requirements of how they behave and how they clothe and how they stand and how they sit, it really makes them incapable of doing some things properly. And you need to fix that in a very delicate way, like making special exercises during the normal training, adjusting certain positions, not in an obnoxious way, but until and suddenly, after months, sometimes you can see click, tang, and that person has a stance. Yeah. It's really a process. That's okay. And then also very important, the first 3 or 4 trainings of the year, the warming up consists largely of learning to touch and work with others' body in an objective way. So we do warming up exercises, but what is underlying there is you learn to touch a body of somebody else in an objective way. No giggling, no gêne, no sexual ideas, no cultural prejudices. We create this space, which is our arena where we train. Like in the Asian martial arts, we have a very, very small ritual. And I say because it's a sacred space, it's also a safe space. Other rules apply than that in society. And I usually demonstrate it by going up to the biggest guy that is there, lifting him up and throwing him on the ground. And then everybody is like, oh, this is interesting.
That was that, actually.
Voilà, exactly. But all in a friendly and in a constructive way. And after a few weeks, you see that people start to melt in the good sense. Also the guys for different reasons also need this. They also need to overcome certain hurdles and certain remmingen, certain obstacles, etc., etc. So these are just 3 little things that we already do, and it makes a difference.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Go.
Hello, my name is Lydia. I fence at HEMAC Copenhagen with my instructor here and 2 clubmates here. I should note that I'm a trans woman. When I started looking into HEMA for the first time, I was like 17 or 16 or something, and there was only 1 club in Copenhagen, which was over 18, so I couldn't join. A few years later, I searched again and found a couple of results, I think, but I was very worried because I was 18 or something, that they would be very much like my European heritage kind of thing, if you get my vibe. And I was a bit anxious, so I wrote out in a Discord server, does anyone do HEMA, yada, yada, yada? And Rosa here replied and says, we do, I go to this club, and we have a few trans women, and it's super nice. And I came to the club, and you weren't there at the first one, but I met this other trans woman who I haven't seen since. I have no idea who she is, but she was there at the first session I was at. And that was a great time because, well, obviously some people might not get this, but even though I, of course, am not, even though there's no harm in doing martial arts with, for example, cis men, it is really anxiety-inducing. Even if I'm not scared for my physical self.
Yeah.
So being able to see people like yourself there is a huge help. So that was very nice. Could be noted that while we do now have like little badges with a progress flag on it, it's not like I saw the website and saw, oh, this is I know that there are trans people here. I don't know how you would advertise that in a good way, because I don't know, I'm not a instructor or anything. That's your problem. But but I will note that I joined the club that I joined, and not another one, because I had a friend of mine refer me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's all.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And as I said, representation matters, and these people being visible, which you can refer to and see that this club is welcoming, is a very, very important thing.
Yeah, and also a lot of minority groups are very well connected, so you can kind of get people coming if you make a good base for a few of them.
You need one.
Yeah, that's very true. Vicky, you.
I actually wanted to talk more about the weapons and the equipment that you have in a club are super important.
Okay.
One of the things I've noticed is the vast majority of HEMA weapons tend to be a little bit on the heavier side. And when you get first of all, I think you talked about women on average being not that strong, not that much muscle mass, but we also get a lot of nerds, a lot of people that don't know how to move. And for all those people, if you give them weapons that are not well balanced, not well made, all of that stuff is going to, they're just not going to last, because it's not productive training. It's something that produces a lot more pain than pleasure, and then you're going to lose those people as well.
Yeah, that's very true. And they feel like the heavy weapon, they don't feel like they can do the technique, so they think that they are bad at it, and that's not true. It's just differences in physical performance, which can be fixed by regular training. But if from the beginning we won't address that, they will just get discouraged. So that's absolutely true.
Another thing is a lot of it's in that the only physical exercise they get is 2 hours of HEMAC on Tuesday night. They don't do anything outside of that.
Yeah, but also there is this obsession of what is the average rapier in the 1605 or something like that, and going back to the whole thing of distributions. It's a vast array of things.
Yeah.
And you have to choose what matters, what's suitable for the people.
Yeah, it is. And I agree with that. And that's why we should meet these people, at some point. We cannot just give everybody, we are not just all cut out from the same outline. We are not just all average person. There are these differences which we need to think about as instructors.
Hi, I'm Carlo. I have a couple of questions, if I may. Besides HEMA, I'm teaching fencing in high school now. So I have 16 years old students. And when I say we do a tournament, they immediately split. Okay. Boys, girls. I would like to make them fence mixed sometimes, but I don't know if I can actually push it or if I should push it.
During training, do they train together?
No.
No, maybe that's.
I suggest it, but there is a strong resistance to the idea of mixing.
Okay. Do you have idea, Karin, to?
Also, I should be able to find a way to safely implement fencing for boys and girls who can't walk, maybe for some time, not just permanently,
Yeah.
without the big platform and the wheelchairs,
Okay.
because we don't have them. So I would like to mix them up if I can, and also allow them to practice when they are injured for other sports, because some of them play high-level soccer, high-level running, athletics, and so on, and they come injured in the class.
Yeah, that's difficult because obviously we are not, some of us are, but physiotherapists. So you know, it's a bit hard to know. It depends on an injury as well. So I think that's difficult. But like just light drills. So I tell my students, for example, that they don't need a sword to practice. They can use, I don't know, a wooden spoon, and that's already. Yeah, it works, as you can see. It already gives you some movement there, which they can practice. But I think that Karin had some idea how to mix the group.
Thank you. I will keep it short but for the handicapped people or the people that cannot walk at that moment, we have an exercise which we do in normal training called fencing from your chair. And it's like you sit, not in the fencing position, but you sit like on your bar stool, but by not going lower. And the only thing you use is your upper body to make all the biomechanical movements. And it's a way of learning them to engage the upper body, but you can do it perfectly well with children or with people that for some reason or another cannot use their legs. So that's just a simple suggestion. For mixed, if you don't, between brackets, force it, and by forcing it, I do not mean violently, of course, but by installing your training mechanism such... No, I know, but you understand what I mean. You have to impose it. And I don't say that you cannot ever let them work amongst each other, but you have to make clear to them that working mixed is the normal thing. And you can do this by introductionary exercises where they maybe do not yet use the weapon, but where they, again, learn to work with each other's body, like sticky hands and softly pushing each other, being close to each other, taking space again, embracing somebody. The idea is then in wrestling to lift them up, but not like I'm going to want something, but just, okay, I'm placing you at the side and I can continue this kind of stuff, so that they learn to overcome this embarrassed teenage phase. That's why. And a last thing about physical differences, I actually oppose the idea that you have to assume that women are always weaker or less muscular. We are often, because the physical education of women is harming their bodies instead of developing them. Yeah. For boys, this is generally not the case. I agree, though, that there are groups of boys which for some reasons have similar problems, but it's not structural. For women, it's structural. Yeah. And what we first have to do is give everybody, the woman especially, the possibility to develop their body at least partially to what it should have been already by nature.
I mentioned that in the beginning of my talk.
When I was in China for a course of Shaolin Kung Fu in 2016, 2 months, I was taller and heavier and stronger than 80% of the men. And I did not change my gender. It's simply because the physiology of the people there is a little bit different. They're generally a little bit taller and a little bit lighter. Yeah. So it's very cultural and very context dependent. And in that context, I follow what was said there. I don't want light swords for women. No, please, no. But I want that you can choose from a range of weapons that are accessible for everybody, the lightest and the heaviest one between that certain limits. And then you can vary in your training, both depending on age or posture or whatever. You can adapt a little bit to the needs of the person.
Yeah, I think there was somebody in the back. Yeah.
I just wanted to add on to
So
that.
if you can.
Mixing the class with genders. Thank you. So firstly, I wanted to ask, do you have more boys than girls in your fencing class?
Not this year, no.
Are they relatively even?
School class, so sport with you, so
Yeah.
it's school with
when I first joined School of the Sword, we had maybe like 2 or 3 female people, and I mean, I'm a female person, and I remember I was, a bit reluctant to team up with some of the bigger guys, so I would usually team up with the one other lady there. And one thing that really helped that Emilia and our other instructors did was when we were doing drills, they would tell us to switch partners, and throughout the lesson for every drill encourage us to pair up with someone that we haven't paired up with before. And that meant that, because in that my example, we had less women, I had to team up with the men, and that over time kind of, as Karen said, like it made it much more comfortable to kind of team up differently. So that's something that I would suggest maybe trying, is kind of encouraging people to switch partners, which is also a great thing to do because everybody is different.
Yeah.
And it's good to try different drills with people of different heights, different weights, different genders, and just to see how things work also on a biomechanical level. Really helpful for me.
Do you have something to follow up on that? Or because I think... Okay. No.
So you have 16-year-olds, right? They're high school age children. Their gym classes are very likely gender separate as well. Their gym classes in school are likely gender separate as well. So they are used to being separated by gender, because this is usually how, like in school when they have sports. As well, if they are, yes, if they are in other sports that are competitive, that are like preparing children to maybe engage in professional sport one day, this is also gender separate. So they're very used to this probably. But if you have an option to get an assistant instructor for at least a couple of sessions that is female and you can work with them, that is already something that is helpful. And you can also just have a conversation directly with them and maybe like break some ideas about how this should be done. Yeah. So yeah, just a chat with some like maybe information similar to what Emilia did in the lecture. Maybe it could be useful to them.
Yeah.
Usually, my assistant instructor in the class is a girl, just because she's better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you are the one organizing competitions, like club level competitions, you can just make those mixed. They don't have to join if they don't wish to join, but to just set a norm for like mixed competition, I think this is really helpful. Like just because they are reluctant to engage in that, I think this shouldn't be something you can force, but it should be something you can invite or offer. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some more things for his theme, or can I? Okay. So my question is more about. So we talked a lot about URG, and you also mentioned disabilities. You also mentioned disabilities, and
they're temporary because some of them
just injuries.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
expect at some point to have somebody.
Yes, and that's what I want to talk about disabilities who are not temporary. For example, my best friend, he's blind, and I've already taught him a lot about self-defense. And we've been friends for like 12 or 13 years now, and I could see that it really boosted his confidence. And not only because he knew that if something would happen, he could defend himself, but it also brought him to stand up for himself. And with my normal job, recently I also started to visit schools where the kids have severe and several disabilities, to show them that they can gain confidence without having in the back of their minds what they were taught, like since they were little, since they realized they're not like everybody else. So my question, or first my goal is, because my best friend, he gifted me one of his old canes and wished for me to create a workshop for disabled people and also for blind people. And now my question is, how should I do it?
That's a big question.
Yeah, it's a big question, but because it's also this is also something that we tend to forget. It's the inclusivity of severely disabled people. And of course, we know they will never be able to compete at the level that we are doing. But it's not their goal. They want to feel included, and maybe some of them, as us, loved Ritter knights when they were little.
Yeah.
But they cannot talk. They have to sit in a wheelchair. But so, and then you said the instructors has to
think about it.
And also take care of the needs, and not the other way around. Because so many people, and my friend also said he got denied so many times because he's disabled.
Yeah.
And because he could not meet
the
their bar, and was excluded because of this.
Yeah, and I can tell you a story about myself. So I actually don't see on one eye, and but nobody told me, and you cannot see it because my eye works fine most of the time. So not many people know that I don't see on my right eye. I only see on my left, but nobody told me for my whole life that I cannot do fencing because people didn't knew that. If they knew, they then probably would tell me from the beginning that, oh, you don't have this depth perception, so probably you will be really bad at it. Well, because nobody told me about it, I just didn't think about it, and I was just still doing these activities. And over time, and I compete. I do competitive fencing as well, and I win. But because because nobody told me about it, I was training at the same level as other people. And in the beginning, yes, I was at disadvantage, and I didn't know why. But with time, I found out ways how to just work around it, even though I didn't realize that I need to work around something. So I think that's also something which is worth thinking about, that you need to make these people welcome. You need to make sure, like to tell them that they just maybe don't need to be like competitive fencers or like fight in tournaments from day one, but they still can do martial arts. They still can practice. They can still enjoy it, and make them feel valued as martial artists. So I think that's it. I probably cannot tell you how to run this workshop, but
so the welcoming is definitely a big part.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking, or what my problem is, complex behindert, like complex disabilities, or like more severe. Because I mean, I wouldn't give my best friend a sharp sword in his hand, and he wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
So it's more like at what point.
Yeah.
So it is a difficult question, because I still think that they still have a place in our community, because it's not only about, I want to swing a sword, but it's also finding a community.
Yeah, it is, and I think that just showing them that they're welcome is quite important in the from the beginning, and showing them that they can do these things, and also asking them maybe what they are comfortable with, as you said, with your friend. So I think this is something to think about as instructor, as a person who has responsibility to, teach them in a safe way and respectful way. So yeah, I think that's that. Karin. Yeah.
I have the mic.
Oh, okay.
Hi. So if I'm thinking about, you said how to start this kind of class, how to run it. It's very likely that a lot of these children have very complex evaluations done already that can really give you an idea of their abilities in different levels. So when you have, for example, like a class prepared, you can see like which of the things might be an issue. And then the class can be maybe run in a way where, okay, so we are doing this exercise, but if there is a stage of the exercise that somebody cannot perform, then this is the alternative way to do the exercise. So everybody reaches a goal depending on the obstacle that they're facing. And if they're also encouraged to maybe, because not every evaluation can give you this in-depth, insight, but if they feel comfortable with saying, okay, but I can't do this in this way, I can't do this motion, then at the actual, session, you can go, okay, if not this, then we do something else, so that everybody gets to reach the end goal or some sort of goal in a way. Yeah.
Kari?
Yeah, also, I think you should work with somebody who works in another context with these children or these people already, not necessarily as a sports person. Yeah, so that they can help you, knowing precisely what. It is a little bit in the direction that she says, but not just the written evaluations, but also the people that work with them. In my experience, I have given self-defense classes for traumatized women, which is, of course, a different problematic, but I always had somebody who has psychological experience as a psychologist. I don't have that. Sometimes problems pop up so that you have somebody really at hand who participates in the exercises, but when there is a problem showing up, this person is immediately there to help you with that. And I think that will also make you feel safer and knowing that you're going on the right way and putting what you have to put into the training itself.
Yeah, safeguarding is also important in this context.
Also, maybe, I don't know what the situation is in your country, but for example, Slovenia has training courses for people who will be working with people with disabilities. And it's, so you have that already? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I have just one more slide to just summarize, unless there is somebody who wants to say something more. But we can also discuss it after the talk, obviously. So yeah, inclusion and diversity is not charity. Is enrichment of our community, and that's something which we need to think about. And martial arts thrive on diversity. Again, showing techniques by different people, by different instructors, and we are working with historical sources, which are something which we need to interpret, and there are different interpretations. That's really, really is important. Different interpretation of sources by different people. I encourage instructors to go and even if, for example, I'm a Fiorist. I teach not only, but I teach a lot of Fiore. But I like to go to other Fiorist instructors, even though I know this material, and see how they teach it. So this is something also worth thinking about. And yeah, I hope that we can build a community which we want to be part of. And I see a lot of changes. I saw a lot of changes since I started HEMA, when I was I think only woman in a club full of middle-aged white men, which was scary at the time because I was 16. But I soldiered on and I'm here. But it's something which we as instructors, as part of the community, as HEMA practitioners or martial artists, need to actively fight for and actively think about. I need to stress it here that I haven't said before, that martial arts and as well as HEMA attracts a lot of different characters. Some of them are quite problematic, which you probably are aware of. And I'm not talking about specific people here, but this happens. So it is something which people see us at as well. So if we will just try to be more inclusive, diverse, hopefully that will drive these problematic characters away. And yeah, so if you want to see if you haven't read my article, I will write a follow-up article how to keep these people in your club. So as I said, they are coming to the beginners courses and then suddenly they disappear. But my article is on Substack. Substack, ECS Fensa is my Substack. Why diversity matters in HEMA. If you want to talk to me about something or message me, or you have some other comments, this is my email. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow me. But apart from that, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your comments and discussion. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a long and hot day, so yeah, thank you. Cheers. If you want to talk to me, I'm here.